Life is a time pass. क्या फर्क पड़ता है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, पता नहीं, जो धारी राय सो मारी राय. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. देखो सुनो मत बोलो. Wherever, whenever, whatever you are, be 100% कर्नाटक. किसी को आओ मत कहो, किसी को जाओ मत कहो. ना कुछ पाना ना कुछ खोना. Who asked you live at zero complaint level? मौज में रहो, be happy.
Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. You have been hearing this mantra, be happy mantra, so many times, I am sure. Before every talk, I begin with this thing. Why this funny mantra? So, like the mantras you know, you are all very well read, established in the truth. One example we will take. Om Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiyo Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat. This is a Vedic mantra. Now what we have understood? See? Now to understand this mantra, Tad Vijnanartham Gurumeva Avigachet Samit Panihi Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. So, we have to go for the satsang and try to understand the meaning. So, let us try to understand the meaning of this mantra and then come to our mantra. Our mantra, is it difficult to understand? Life is a time pass. दिमाग खर्चा करने की जरूरत ही नहीं. जो धारी रहा है सो मारी रहा है. Relax. Now this mantra, Om Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam. So, unless we understand the meaning of the words, it becomes only noise. We must understand the meaning. Suppose I talk in Chinese. Ying an mung pung pang. So what is the meaning? Because we have not understood the meaning of these words. Similarly, Om Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam. What we have understood? Noise. It's only a noise. Therefore, by the way this mantra has come, I will explain this mantra. See? Now we are going to study Sadhanashtakam. 8 verses on how to do the sadhana. Scriptures are studied for changing our vision. Because all the problems begin from the wrong vision. Like, There was a young boy on his motorcycle and going, and he saw one beautiful girl going in the same direction. So he wanted to flirt. So he went and stood in front of her and wanted to say hi. But it so happened the one who was looking beautiful from backside, the moment he came from front, she was 18 not out. Not 18. What will you do? Hi? Hi. Because the vision has changed. Isha vastamidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitha ma grudakasya siddhanam. When we are looking at this world, what is our vision? This is a basic point on the spiritual path. Basic point. See? Our interaction will change. I am giving these 2-3 examples only to make it firm. Like the same lady, seen by the father, seen by the husband, seen by the child, will have different experience. The father will look at her, my dear darling daughter. Then the son will look at her, my sweet mom. Further you know. Isn't it? So, the moment we understand this principle, when our vision changes, everything changes in the world. See? And it is for this purpose we are studying Sadhanashtakam. Normally what happens? We have this notion. We go to Babaji, Maharaji, there is a back pain, please do something. So lagao balm. No, not for that. Change the vision. So this mantra, what we have said, Trambakam Yajamahe, let us understand this meaning and see what change it makes. Three-eyed one, Trambakam. Lord Shiva has 3 eyes. I always used to have, my worries were always different. My worry used to be, if Shivji gets glasses, what will be the design? Because in some places, the eye is shown vertical, somewhere is the horizontal. But kaisa dikhta ho? See? 3 eyes. 3 eyes means what? We also have 3 eyes. When we are identified with the body, waking world, 1 eye. When we are in the dream, 2nd eye. And the 3rd eye is when we are in deep sleep. So Trambakam Yajamahe, we are invoking him. Trambakam Yajamahe. For what? Sugandhim. Su means Sundar, Sushtu. So, Gam is Gati, direction, destination. Dhi, Buddhi. We are invoking Lord Shiva, who is supporting through his 3 eyes the 3 planes of experience, Jagra, Sapna, Sushupti, and he alone will give us this Sugandhim, Buddhi, which is for our good. Therefore, spiritual practice begins by invocation of the Lord in our heart. Sugandhim. Then Pushtivardhanam. That alone will make us strong to walk the spiritual path. How important it is. Nayamatma balahinena labhyaha. This truth is not for those who are weaklings. And the strength comes in addition to our efforts, divine grace We are always reminded of His grace in our life. Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam. And that alone will make us strong. See, Upanishad says, Nayam Atma Balahinena Labhyaha. The truth is not for those who are without strength. Now, what is the Bala, strength? Is it a physical strength, or mental strength, or intellectual strength, or it is the Atma Bala? See? All other strengths, Bala, it will weaken away. See? As the age grows, physical thing goes, mental becomes mental, intellectual forgetting. See? So these three strengths that we depend all our life, they are not available when they are required. Therefore, the real Bala is Atma Bala, and therefore this Atma Bala has to be invoked in terms of devotion to the Lord. Yad yad karma karomi tat tad akhilam shambho tavaradhana. Sugandhim pushtivardhanam. Now, urvarukam iva. Urvaruka means the cucumber or any fruit like a pumpkin, etc., which grows on a creeper. A pumpkin or a creeper, when it is ripe, it doesn't fall from the creeper. It is still attached. See? But it is separated. How beautiful it is. It is attached, yet it is separated. Exactly that way. Urvarukam iva. We have to live our life in this relative world. Yet we are separated. आ गया ना मजा? Live in the relative world, but don't forget your non-dual being. Then how do you do that? Karnataka. Like what you are doing now? Same. See? Urvarukamiva. Bandhanat. So the cucumber or the pumpkin is tied down to the original plant, yet it is not tied down. See? Meaning what? Pashan api. Seeing is happening, but seer is not born. See? Joy is experienced, but enjoyer is not born. Karma is happening, but a doer is not born. See? Urvarukamiva bandhanat mrutyo mukshiya. Let me be liberated from the death. Now, what is the liberation from the death? See, nobody suffers because of death. Imagine, I die here. Your problem. I am relaxed. You suffer. अब क्या करें? See, people suffer not because of death, but because of the fear of death. And see the funny part about this death, there are two versions. One is the version of yoga, second is the version of Vedanta. Why people are afraid of death? According to Yoga Shastra, they say that every jiva had the experience of death when he left the last body. And that experience of death is so deeply rooted, and because of that, he is afraid of death in this life, according to yoga. See? But Vedanta says, you don't have the experience of death. See? Therefore, why are you afraid of death? We don't have the experience of last life, next life, hell, heaven. This is only a prakriya that we don't understand. So, urvarukamiyo bandhanat mrutyor mukshiya means what? The fear of death will disappear. See? Mrityor Mukshya Ma Amritat. May I remain abiding in the self that I am. See, friends. This is the meaning of this Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukam Bandhanat Mrityor Mukshya Ma Amritat. You must have been hearing for so many times. Has it ever clicked like this? See? So do we mean it is a useless mantra? No, it is not useless. There is something called as Dravya Shakti. Like we take Tylenol. Do we know how the Tylenol acts? We don't know. But it does. In the same manner, we may not know the meaning of this mantra, but it will act. But when it is done with understanding, it will be meaningful and lasting. See, friends. Therefore, when we are chanting our Maha Mantra, Om Trambakam Yajamahe, instead of that, life is a time pass. Now start reflecting on that. Words we have understood, life is a time pass. Reflect on it. See. What is the meaning of time pass? This example I have given number of times because you are all professional listeners, you may be knowing it. When we have to go and take food in somebody's house, so it is never available when we want. We have to wait. There is no choice also. We are choiceless existence. So when I was waiting somewhere, the child of that family, Swamiji will play carom for some time till the food is ready. So I had no choice. I had to eat food in his house. Then he was so involved in playing. My attention was only for the food. So when his mother called, Swamiji, food is ready. I said, come on, get up now, enough. No. You have to play completely now. For him, victory and defeat was an issue. For me, it was a time pass. When we say life is a time pass, what does it mean? Don't make an issue out of anything in your life. We all suffer in life because we make issues. See? I have done so much. What did I get? Who asked you? Another mantra? See how simple it is. Then how do we live this? It's only one way. This is what I understood my whole life. Is only one way. And that is, whatever we are doing in this world, it is our need. Nobody needs us. It's our need. And when we do anything in our life as our need, we cannot be arrogant. See? We can't have that thing, so much I have done for you. Who asked you? See? And when Vidya Vinayena Shobhate, if we are really digested this knowledge in our life, it has to reflect in our day-to-day activities. It cannot be holier than thou. No. Therefore, whatever we are doing in this world, nobody needs it. It is for our time pass. See? Like, I keep on moving like mad around the world. Nobody wants me, I know very well. Now, why do I go? It is my need. Like, 2.5 years or so, I was in one house, 2 BHK in Mumbai, small one. Now imagine, live in the same house without stepping out of the house. Not for a day or two. 2 years, 2.5 years. Had God not given me that suggestion to start morning, evening, Corona festival, what I would have done? Eat, sleep, eat, and watch all useless things on the TV. and make a kachra in our head, is it not? So it was my need. I could revise the whole thing. Yeah, how many books? Somebody told me, wrote rather, Swamiji, nobody has taken in a row the whole Panchadashi. See, Panchadashi is such a huge volume. Because normally satsang means, yagya, satsang means what? You go for 3, 4 days, 5 days, go, and then Ram Katha, and then over. But with commitment, continuously. Therefore, that time I told those of you who are interested to really get benefit, listen the live. See? Then you will be slowly tuning with me. And it really helps so many people. So it is my need that I do. If this attitude is there, there cannot be great, feeling that I am successful. No, it is our need. So, life is a time pass because it is our need. What will you do otherwise? One of the most important thing in life to understand is, in old age, people suffer only because of excess of time. Nobody suffers because of shortage of time. Children, they have no time. So busy, whatever they are doing doesn't matter. They don't get bored. And they are able to discover joy in small little things. They are busy. We old people, again morning, know what to do whole day. And if there is nothing, then breakfast में क्या बनाया? Therefore, we have to keep ourselves busy, occupied. And in the old age, the busyness and occupation is take up something, whatever you like, as a anushtan. Anushtan means doing something with commitment. See, I'll tell you one of my very good Gujarati friend. He has got his pharmaceutical company, big factory. And because of his daughter, he became close to me. She used to come for my talks. Young girl, maybe 18, 20. He had never come. And once somehow our introduction was done, and then he asked me, Swamiji, I go for Rama Katha, etc., but mujhe kuch samajh, what I do, I don't know what should I do. I said, I'll tell you, will you do it? He said, yes. I said, do Ramcharit Manas Parayan. He said, okay. How many times? I don't know why I said 108 times. Then where? I said, go to some holy place. And to the surprise, he has gone to 108 holy places in India, like Ashtavinayak, Dwadash Jyotirlinga, holy temples, Ganga Ji, Yamuna Ji, Vrindavan, Rishikesh. See? He did 108 times Parayan in going to this holy place. And the last one he did in Dwarka. So, there also, first I was there, 108. He said, Swamiji, you told me I had done it. It has taken him more than about 7-8 years, because he is busy in his business also. He did it. Then he said, Swamiji, that is the best thing that has happened in my life. See? Therefore, when you do something as anushtan, commitment, then our mind is channelized in a proper thinking process. See? And when we understand that the food given to the mind is the divine thoughts, how much care we take about our food for the body, everything organic, organic, organic. See? Then what kind of food we give to the mind? Inorganic. See? Therefore, life is a time pass, particularly for the elderly folks. Do not simply sit and live like that. You must not have time even to die. Keep busy, keep occupied. See? This is one technique. Second technique is we have to also chant the Lord's name. Initially, how many malas? But subsequently, how much time we are in His company. See? In Kumbh Mela 2015 or what, Mahakumbh Mela, one of my friends from UK, Gordon Brown, his name, he told me, Swamiji, there is a Kumbh Mela and I am coming, you come. And I didn't know anything. I said, okay, I'll come. So I went there. He came, but on the airport he has to go back because his wife was admitted in ICU. But I stayed there. And there was one elderly man. He was the principal of a Sanskrit Mahavidyalaya in Prayagraj. So he was doing japa continuously. Then he asked me, you don't do japa? I said, not regular. No, you must do it. I said, all right. Then I said, how to do the japa? See, the mala is all the time in my hand, is going on. Be very attentive. I am not condemning him. Whenever we do anything mechanically, it has no impact on our life. Simple. See, we have to get involved 100%. Mechanically run is default settings. See? Mind is not required to be involved. And then we are no more benefited. So, how to get involved in doing the japa? Now this is the technique. Try. And this is for what? Life is a time pass. I am explaining you. So take the mala in the hand or don't take, doesn't matter. And then chant only for 3 times slowly. Not hurriedly. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. No, slowly. Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Leave wider gap between 2 mantras. By this, what happens? We are completely involved in that. It is like eating chocolate. What is the difference between eating chocolate and taking Ayurvedic medicine? When we take Ayurvedic medicine, immediately we want to eat something sweet. It is so bitter. Our chanting, as if it is Ayurvedic, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Khatam. No. On the contrary, like chocolate. We eat the chocolate and don't swallow. Put it in the parking lot. Now and then. That way, the Rama Nama Rasa happens, my friends. I am not telling theoretically. See? Sadhanashtakam. Mechanically, we have done everything in life. Give this training, trial. So when I told that old man, he was that time 90 or so, and so erudite, and so well read. Whole Bhagavad Mahapuran was kanthastha to him, and he used to give a lecture. I used to also listen to him. So he told me, hey, what you are telling seems some meaningful. It never struck me. Whenever you do anything mechanically, it loses its value, its impact. See? Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day, over. Mechanically. No. Therefore, when we are thus focusing our attention on whatever we do, whenever we do, in whatever capacity we do, we have to learn to be 100%. We are doing real spiritual practice. Okay? Now this mantra, how simple it is. Wherever you are, whenever you are, whatever you are, be 100%. Now where are we? In the satsang. See? When? During the satsang. What? Mother, father, dada, dadi? No. Satsangi. So other than satsanga, no other thought. This is the truth. This is Brahmanubhuti. In this experience of yours, there are no efforts. You are not trying to learn. No means of knowledge are used. Sense organs are not used. Organs of action are not used. Mind is not used. And it is not a concept. You cannot give any name to this. But when we hear to satsang here and there, and then we get lost in the words. Remain in awareness. What awareness? You don't know what awareness. In one group, I was invited, and I went with my friend and sat in the front seat, front row. There Guru Maharaj came, pant, shirt, etc. And then his disciples brought the full gown, so the red gown was put over there. Inside pant, shirt, everything. And then pom, 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 drum and all that. He sat. And then he said, now forget about awareness, old word, outdated word. Now feel. And the whole audience. See, friends. Efforts are not involved anywhere. Effortlessness to the tune of the space. See? Today, while Aparna was making our food ready to keep us busy, she said, Swami, that is very good, you go and see that, so that I don't eat her head. So I went and sat, and some about the shark, some kind of picture was going on. Some documentary, national, what do you call that? Herald, something like that. So, when I look again, immediately I have got default settings. From everything, learn. This is spiritual practice. Every experience of our life is an arrow mark to the divine. Every experience. So when we are saying that, So immediately it comes out without, by default, no problem. I said, look here, now there are so many big sharks in this ocean. Will the waters feel the burden of these sharks? Now to understand it more clearly, if you have got a aquarium in your house, and if there are 3 fish, will it be a burden for that water? Suppose you add 5 more. Hey, don't add here, I can't take more. No. And if we remove all the fish, will the water feel light? Because the support is never influenced by what is supported, is it not? See, friends, once I went to Hawaii with my friend, many years before. That was his birthday. He told me after going there. So we went to some Chinese restaurant to get some vegetarian food. So he was talking to them, explaining what we had to eat. And there was a huge aquarium there. So I took my camera and I was taking shots and all that. He said, Swamiji, you like fish? I said, no. Then what are you shooting? I said, you imagine what I am shooting. Maybe there is a snake in that. I said, no. Maybe the decorations inside. I said, no. Maybe the giant size of the aquarium. I said, no. I don't know then what it is. I said, I am taking the picture of water. He said, what is there to see in water? I said, that is what I am seeing. If you add more fish, will that water feel burden? See? And when the fish is moving inside, will the water feel goody? See? Can the fish exist without water? No. Now come closer. This is Sadhanashtakam. Every experience is an arrow mark to the divine. See? So the space supports everything. It doesn't get influenced by anything. If you have got this spiritual vision, your perceptions are different. If you don't have, then raat ko tare ginte, din ko tare ginte. See? And what do you get out of it? See, friends, don't get lost in this objectivity in life. Every experience is an arrow mark to the self. This must happen. See? Otherwise, we get lost in this world. One of my friend, our Arunji's friend, he asked this question. Swamiji, this Kundali, Rahu, Ketu, Mangal and Guru, Shukra and all that thing, do you believe in that? I said, I don't believe in anything. Belief is in the field of ignorance. Do you believe you exist or you know you exist? See? You have to believe. I believe I have seen you somewhere because it is at the level of the memory. Memory can fail. But I believe that I am. No, I know I am. See? So I said, I don't know anything about it. I don't believe. But you don't believe? But so many people say, I said, I do not know, therefore I don't believe. Then, now coming to our topic, Sadhanashtakam. There was a great Mahatma in Maharashtra. His name was Gondavlekar Maharaj. You might have heard the name. He used to give the mantra only Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Maybe more than 150 years before or so. So, there was some astrologer and he was seeing people's kundali and telling, and it was all coming true. Afterwards, he came to this Mahatma and said, Maharaji, I have done this thing. He said, really, you can predict? Yes. Everybody say, you ask them. All the devotees say, yes, Maharaj, whatever you told is correct. Then he took out from his seat below one paper dilapidated. He said, kindly see the fate of this particular horoscope. He said, this person cannot be alive. He must have suffered a lot. He will be, dying for even a cup of tea or a glass of water. A most worst kind of thing. He won't have a house. Nobody will like him. Disgusted horoscope. Whose is this thing? He said, this is my horoscope. Really? He said, yes. Then it was told. Then I told that friend, traffic rules are applied for whom? Passenger or driver? If you are devoted to the Lord, Rahu, Ketu, they can't touch you. See? Don't get lost in those things. Otherwise, you will get only in that. Then this is this time, that time, and then this time. No. Relax. See? So, like the waters are not influenced by the presence or absence of the fish, etc., like the space is not influenced by the contents, the space doesn't oppose any content, doesn't get influenced by any content. Come now subjectively. Our vision supports all colors and forms, doesn't get influenced by anything. See, yellow color, blue color, red color, white color, it makes no difference. Therefore, what is the truth? The truth is that which supports everything, but doesn't get influenced by anything. You don't have to do anything. Only recognize this, that's it. Similarly, ears hear all sounds, whether it is the Lord's name or it is an abuse, no problem. Skin feels all the things, heat and cold, no problem. See, but where are we lost? We are lost, take again the same example, eyes. We are lost in specific colors. I like only red. I don't like yellow, dirty fellow. But I like brown. No, I like khaki color. So we are lost in the specificities, something special. If we give up this obsession with anything special, what will happen? We will leave the objective world and come to the eyes or the sense organs which are non-specific. So, colors and forms are for all the objects. Vision which is illuminating all of them as neither the color nor the form, is it not? If we have to come to that, what will be the spiritual practice? Living at zero complaint level. Jo thari rahe, so mari rahe. See? We don't want anything special. But we are carrying the burden of these specialities to such an extent that the substratum supporting all the specialities is hidden. See? Now continue the same example. When I am obsessed with any color and form, that color and form is covering my vision. When I am a slave of my sense organs, then sense organs are covering the mind. When I am enslaved by the likes and dislikes, the seat of the likes and dislikes is mind. When I am obsessed with my personal likes and dislikes, it is covering the wisdom, the discrimination, the intellect. And when that intellect becomes very strong, it is covering the divinity that we are. This journey from the specific to the non-specific, from the many to the one, is the spiritual practice, and all other things are okay if they are directed for this. See? Therefore, when we are talking about sadhana, all the places, what is done for what should be known. So, karmani chitta shuddhyartham, aikagrayartham upasanam, mokshartham brahma vidyanam iti vedanta dindima. See, the karma we do, not for getting something, but the chitta shuddhyartham. And what is the impurity of our mind? Impurity of our mind is only two, likes and dislikes. There is nothing third. And see the funny part, both the likes and dislikes have no logic. Like I say, I don't like yellow color. What is the logic? Some people like only yellow color. What is the logic? No logic. See? And our whole life is guided by these likes and dislikes. And see, affluence and prosperity is directly proportionate to how much importance you give to your personal likes and dislikes. See, in rich people's home like you all, everybody has got so much of choice, I don't want that ice cream, I want that brand, I don't want this thing. Because you are able to do it, we are giving more and more options to ourselves. Lesser the options you give to yourself, nearer you are to the divine. We give zero option to the colors and forms, you are near the eyes. Give zero importance to the obsession of any particular sense organ, you are near the mind. Get out of these likes and dislikes, you are reached the seat of wisdom, discrimination. See? Therefore, the covering is very funny. We can't even recognize this. Like the waves cover the ocean. The ornaments cover the gold. Because too much obsession about the effects, and a cause is hidden behind the effects. See? Therefore, friends, if we really mean the spiritual practice, we have to, the first thing is, we have to change our vision. And in changing that vision, keeping this as the goal, thereafter do whatever you are doing is okay. See? Whether you wake up early morning, 4 o'clock and disturb everybody, see? Or you comfortably sleep and get up, finish your tea, coffee, and then sit cheerfully, happily in his lap. See? So one of the things which I follow, I am telling you. I am not telling you what others are doing or what something. I am telling you what I am doing. Do not have too many rules and regulations on you. We get unnecessarily bound with that. See? Too many rules and regulations. No. Relax. Lead a normal life. See? Otherwise, all the time, oh, today is Monday, again, what I have to do it, but today I'm very hungry, then what I should do? साबुदाने की खिचड़ी चलती है all the time. Eat normally and relax. My simple rule is this thing. पेट भर के रखो, दिमाग खाली रखो. और इसे उल्टा. See? पेट खाली है, all the time thinking about food. क्या बनाएगा? In this manner, slowly give up all too many externalities and then relax. See? And this is exactly what we all do. You are doing it, but you don't know you are doing that. This is what I am telling you. How you are doing it? When we go to sleep, what we do? See? All our achievements are our failures. All our friends, all our enemies. All our important things, relations, everything is slowly dropped. Then only we can go to sleep. But real sleep begins when? Till you are tossing on the bed like the dosha, you are not sleeping. The last mantra is only, I want to sleep, I want to sleep, I want to sleep. Till such time, the I is there and want is there, the sleep doesn't begin. When I disappears, even in the satsanga, therefore those who sleep in satsanga, I like them very much. In Mumbai it happened, two persons were sitting right in the front chair. And one was the descendant of Kumbhakarna. And next one to him, and this Kumbhakarna straight away went to sleep. And that Dunlop pillow was trying to move. So he put his hand, committed to sleep. And I was watching for him. And my lecture was through. My rule is don't get disturbed. Whenever you get disturbed, you have given importance to something. You give zero importance, you cannot get disturbed. After everything was over, talk was over, he woke up. And first of all he came, Swamiji, you are awesome. See, thank you. Then he went away. Now this Dunlop pillow, he was so angry. Swamiji, you saw him, he is sleeping, why didn't you wake him up? I said, look here, be cool. What for you have come here? What is spiritual life? What is satsanga? What for you have come here? To become miserable or to be happy? I came for happy, but look, slowly. You came for happy. He already was happy. You are still struggling. How he was happy? Because tyage naike amrutatva manashu. Whenever we are happy, we are divine. You cannot think and happy together. See? You think to be happy. Okay, I want to be happy. You can never be. See, friends. Therefore, the real spiritual practice we all have to do is this. See? Now, after this much introduction, now we go to the next step. कितना 1 घंटे का है कि 2 घंटे का है? 1 घंटे का? 1 hour. Okay. So, what are the components of the sadhana? So, one component I told you, karmani chitta shuddhyartham. Whatever we are doing, it is only for the purification of the mind. Now, how the mind is purified by karma? Till such time we are living in a relative world. We all have certain obligations in life. See, there was one student, He asked me once, Swamiji, please give me some advice. I said, the whole scriptures you have studied, what was that? He said, no, that I know, but for me, personal advice, you tell me. What should be my, strongly I should hold on to that. I said, okay, listen. That day, when you have either not conducted satsanga, or not attained satsanga, or you have not studied something solid, if you have not done that, you have no right to take food. See? How important it is. We have studied scriptures. That is our obligation to the society. We are living on the food given by you people. I can't just take it free. See, friends. Therefore, Gita says, Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. If all our obligations are completed in the old age, there are no regrets. In old age, there are two regrets. Kimahagam sadhuna karavam, kimaham papam akaravam iti. When I was young, why did I go the wrong way? I should not have done that. And this I should have done. But why I did not do that? Two omissions. Right things are omitted and wrong things are committed. And in old age, all the time is at our disposal. And that time, all the good things that we do, that we will forget. But those things will remain. I should not have done like that. Maharaj, yes. Suppose somebody gives something in donation, will his sins be washed away? Who can ask this question? Then we are also not less. Yes, beta, you can be done. That depends on the size of the sin. See how important it is. Therefore, spiritual life is not just like that. It is a 24/7 business of life. We have to lead our life in a responsible way. Now, how to do that? Bhagavan says, Karmanyeva adhikaraste means what? I will not tell you the traditional translation. Simple and straight away it should hit you. Then it has a meaning. Be attentive. Do we have a choice to live yesterday or tomorrow? No choice. We have to live today. All the actions that we do we do the actions yesterday or tomorrow? No, today. So, we have no choice but to live now. We have no choice but all the actions are done now. Now, if we are doing whatever we are doing for getting happiness from action, unknowingly what we are doing, we are postponing our happiness in the future period of time. See? Like one young, healthy, smart, educated, and wonderful boy, he thinks one day suddenly, what a life without a wife. See? Everybody gets married to be happy. Dash, dash, dash. Thereafter what happens, God knows, I don't know. I am not in that field. So everything we do for getting happiness. So if we do anything, if I do this thing, I will get this thing, then I will be happy. So we are postponing our happiness. Those who postpone their happiness, they can never be happy in life. So we have to be happy now and here. How it can be done? Simple technique. Whatever you are doing, do it happily. Or don't do it. No, but what people will say, oh, no. Don't, you are cheating yourself. See, once you understand this simple technique, you are cleaning your heart. That is, karmani chitta shuddhyartham. And therefore I told you, whatever we are doing, it is our need. See, if I have this wrong notion that because of my lecture, you people will improve, there cannot be more fool than me. Where God has failed, do you think I will be successful? Therefore, karmani chitta shuddhyartham. And purity of the mind is what? Purity of the mind, you are happy. That's all. A miserable person cannot be happy. It's all secret of all life. Karmani chitta shuddhyartham. Then aikagryatham upasanam. The second part of the sadhana is upasana. Upasana means, upa means near. Asana means to sit. So we do Ekadashi Upavas. We don't go near God. We are near Savdara Khichadi. See, Upasana is let the Lord express through us. That's all. All the time in tune with Him. And how do we know we are in tune with Him? Mahamantra, Jo thari rahe, so mari rahe. Nothing happens in our life which is not needed. See, once I was in a hospital many years before, and there was something wrong with my Madhya Pradesh. And we were two in the same room, hospital room, and they used to give us food, and I was fed up of that food. Barley water and boiled rice and then little bit of that floating things and little bit of salt, that's it, no mirch masala, and I like mirch masala. One day or 2 days or, I had to take that both the times. And the person who was in the other bed, he was getting wonderful food. So I was thinking, because I'm a Babaji, they are treating me like this. But what can I do? And he was fed up of that rich food. He said, I can't on, I don't know. I said, don't waste food. Food, annam brahmeti mejanat. Don't waste the food. I said, but I can't eat, I'm fed up of that food. I said, okay, then I'll eat. Actually, I wanted to eat it. And I ate it. And all the readings were completely destroyed. It became a serious case. Immediately the doctor came, the nurse came and all that. Doctor became angry, this, that. And then they put some tube inside the mouth and flush out everything and all that. You would have died. Then nurse, who gave him this food? So the nurse said, we didn't give it. Everybody was shaking it. Then I found, now I had to talk myself. I said, nobody gave, I only ate because he was wasting the food. I didn't like wasting food, therefore I ate. He said, you don't understand. Your disease is different, his is different. Do you know what are you suffering from? I said, I don't know. You are suffering from something like melena or kalina. Is there some disease? There is something about your intestines. Melena or kalina, something. Melena probably. You are suffering from melena. I said, oh, thank God. At least the name of the disease is good. Like Lavina, melena. He says, you don't know the seriousness. See, friends, therefore, the doctors are not my enemy. Exactly the same way, in this life, whatever happens in our life is needed for our evolution. Success as well as failure. Honor as well as dishonor. See, it's essential. Without that, we cannot grow. See? And for this, Jo thari rahe so mariya. We have no complaint against anybody, against anything in this world. Again, Mahamantra, living at zero complaint level. Okay. Then that is upasana. As a result of this, what happens? Upasana is external. Result of upasana is invocation of devotion in our heart. Devotion or bhakti is an experience Upasana is action. Upasana is external. Bhakti or devotion is internal. And bhakti is what? Manifestation of God in our heart is bhakti. See? And if the God expresses in our heart is only happiness. Happiness means living at zero complaint level. जो थारी रहा है सो मारी रहा है. ठीक है भगवान. Good. See? I tell you, in my whole life, I have not planned anything. You will not believe me. It's good, don't believe. But I have not planned anything. Things are happening. He knows he's a better planner. Then we think, I want to do, relax. See? Like before coming here, my visa was getting over on 28th May 2022. So, Arun told me, Swamiji, you come before that only, at least you can stay for 1 month, then you can go back and all that. I said, okay, let me see. Then this was heard by another friend of mine who was sitting with me. He said, Swamiji, we are also applying for renewal of our visa, me, my wife. I will apply you. I said, do it. He did it. His wife got the right date and it was revived. When my papers were submitted online, 31st December 2022, that was the appointment time given for dropping the passport. He says, Swamiji, what will happen? I said, why you are relaxed, worried? I am relaxed. Kahin mera time pass karna hai. No, I will try again. I said, do whatever you like. Again, after a few days, he tried. We got 1st April. I said, they are going to fool you. Go ahead. And then he gave papers to the VFS office. Everything was done. And within 1 week, when it came, more than me, he was happy. Swamiji, your visa has come. If I am required to come over here, it will happen. If not required, not required. Living at zero choice level. जो थारी रहा है सो मारी रहा है. See, friends, once you take this approach, then your mind will be relaxed. See, not worried. So, karmani chitte siddhyartham aikagrayartham upasanam. The net result of these two practices, what is called first karma, is the dharma shastra. Upasana is the upasana shastra. When these two things are practiced properly, then our mind is capable of understanding and application for the study of scriptures. Technically, this is called as krutopasti and akrutopasti. Krutopasti means those who have done the upasana, those who have lived their life according to the scriptural injunctions. They are krutopasti. Now such people, they are naturally inclined for the study and contemplation. Naturally inclined. Normally you see, we go to the various Mahatmas for what? Getting some blessings, Ashirwad, ye mil jaye, wo mil jaye. Knowing the truth is secondary. All other things are primary. See? Therefore, when the heart is pure, Bhagavan Shankaracharya in his commentary writes very beautifully. What is the definition of pure mind? He says, pure mind means that mind which is naturally inclined to inquire into truth. That is pure mind. What is the perfect mirror? Where our reflection is reflected exactly as we are. See, so if we are inclined naturally toward the study of the scriptures, then it will be very easy. And if we are not, then Swamiji, when we listen, that time it becomes so easy. But what happens when we go and put on our shoes, everything is forgotten. Why it happens? Because of the shoes. Don't put on the shoes. put on somebody else's shoes. Then it will be better. See, it is so simple, friends. Therefore, first part is we have to be qualified. Now, who is the qualified student with all the details, etc., and the subsequent things, we will enter in this text tomorrow morning after the class. Now, you have this thing, open your throats. Bhavavruttya hi bhavatvam, Shunyavruttya hi shunyatam, Brahmavruttya hi purnatvam, Tatha purnatvam abhyaset, Yehi vrittim jahatenam, Brahmakhya pavanim param, Vrutaiva te tu jivanti, Pashubhishcha samanaraha, Yehi vrittim vijananti, Jnatvapi vardhayanti ye, Te vai satpurusha dhanya, Vandyaste bhuvanatraye. तुम धीरे धीरे करो, जल्दी क्यों करते हो? सबके साथ चैंट करो. येषां वृत्तिं समावृद्धा परिपक्वा च सा पुनः ते वै सद्ब्रह्मतां प्राप्ता नेतरे शब्दवादिनः कुशला ब्रह्मवार्तायां वृत्तिहीना सुरागिणः तेप्यज्ञानतया नूनं पुनरायान्ति यान्ति च निमेषार्धं न तिष्ठन्ति वृत्तिं ब्रह्ममयीं विना यथा तिष्ठन्ति ब्रह्माद्या सनकाद्या शुकादया भावितं तीव्रवेगेन यद्वस्तुं निश्चयात्मना पुमान् तद्धि भवेत् ज्ञेयं भ्रमरकीटवत् दृश्यम् अदृश्यतां नीत्वा ब्रह्माकारेण चिन्तयेत् विद्वान् नित्यसुखे तिष्ठेत् धिया छिद्रसम्पूर्णया. ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरि ओम.